Hello everybody, welcome. I'm No02, thank you for watching this video. We're almost to the end here. This is our walkthrough guide where I sort of go slowly through the map, a little systematically. I break things down, show you what's up, the pathing that I take, the risks, the reward that you can have, little tidbits and things like that. Okay, you guys, shush. So, not a whole lot going on in this map, actually. Not that this map is necessarily shorter than some of the others. That there's not a whole lot going on. There's not a lot of doors to blow open. There's not any, like, forced horde events, or... There's not a lot happening. Not a lot of mechanics going on this map as far as map design goes. So, like, right at the end. So be sure to check the timestamps. Because there's some nice information to know at the end, at the final bit here. Where you have to go through the trap. The sniper trap. Right at the end. Let's note that I have Ravenous as one of my corruption cards, so there is a crap ton of food. Way more food than you would typically encounter on this map, though we are running the scavenger cards. Just to give us a slight idea of what these maps could potentially look like if we were running some scavenger cards on them, right? At this point, it's really just left or right. As we get out into this area here, left or right. Both sides, for the most part, have loot on either side. Pick left or right. And if you want to be greedy, you can loot both sides. If you need loot, loot both sides. And for the most part, it's not super greedy in some locations. Relatively easy to cross over. So here, I just choose right. There is literally no loot on the left side here. Beware of that sleeper. A little hidden in the trees right there, right? I like to choose the right side here because at the very least we have the option to jump into these train cars as quick getaways, holdout spots, right?
That doesn't sound good.
Oh, watch out for the sleepers. Alright, we can explore. These train cars, not a big deal.
I needed that.
Particularly loot in here. We get to this point, and this is sort of like where we can diverge, right? Because there's loot over there. When it comes to using that place right there, really nice holdout spot for the most part. In fact, that right there, that's a wooden door right now. But it could be a normal door or an alarm door. It being boarded up like that is good RNG. It reduces the amount of locations that they can come in. Once you're up here, right, with the snipers. I think there's 2 or 3. I think the bots killed them. Cross over here. This is also one of those maps where there tends to be a lot of traps, a lot of bear traps on the ground and stuff. At this point, the loot on the right side gets a little thin. The last bit of loot in this cart and right beyond it, and then the left side sort of picks up on the loot here. The box in there, right? Loot in.
Yes.
Oh, there's the safe room, the T's. Oh god. I didn't realize that was a safe room. Right there. It's a food because of Ravenous. You can sort of see, right? So like the way this map sort of is set up is left or right. Both are about the same as far as danger and movement goes. Both have loot. There's sort of nothing in the center. The most dangerous part of the map is crossing over from one side to the other. And we're like about halfway done with the map now.
No wonder this place
I like to jump on top of these crates here.
They have an entire train.
Things can spawn on top and drop down on you and things like that. So sort of a crappy area to be in. Let's get out of here as quickly as possible.
I'll never get tired of that.
We jump on top of these boxes. We can sort of see stuff. Sleeper there. Sometimes there's sleepers over here, I think. Little scope of the land. Lay of the land here. And usually I aim for that as my little safe area here. But if you want extra loot, hold the right side. If you want faster path, you go left. Both have opportunities for loot. Obviously the right side has more loot because it's much longer. Here's a good example of where the sniper stuff will like clip through things, but you can actually sort of shoot in between those boards a little bit. And the sniper right there, you can sort of see from right here. The bots killed them from here. Just move along. And you can sort of see, like, there's really just not a lot going on here. It's just choose your path. Choose your destiny. Beware bear traps in this area for the most part. I think bear traps. There's a lot of angles, a lot of turns and stuff where bear traps will grab you. Right, loot, loot, loot. Yada, yada, yada. Respawn right there. You can sort of see if we just choose left, it's super short. Opportunity for loot right here and stuff.
Over here.
Nothing too crazy. Nothing too crazy. Now, this is one of our 2 toolkit room spawns, and they're actually relatively close to each other. Both are fine for the most part. But this, I would say, is the lesser of the 2. Typically considered as bad RNG, but it's really not a big deal. Pretty minute difference between the 2. Keep in mind, too, that when you get to this corner, you get a lot of extra space, but for all of these places here, underneath, where we can potentially be holding out, things will spawn on top and drop down, so that can be an issue sometimes.
Yeah, I need that. Over there.
Drop down, jump down.
Every
Level
copper
food.
adds up.
There is loot down here. Typically, alright, like food. I think there's copper chance. I think I've seen guns spawn down here. I typically just don't go down here, though. There's really no reason to. Though, that being said, good holdout spot. Right? Good, long, nice hallways, holdout spot. I don't think anything can jump down on top of us unless they crawl through here, but I don't really know. I admit, I don't really know. I don't think they do. And here is the second toolkit, and we prefer it here simply because when it comes to jumping down into this area, it gives us a clear and obvious place to go. It's the best place to sort of hold out before we drop down on the other side of the door. And it's just a little bit closer to where we need to get to, so reset, heal. Of course, if the bots are desperate on health, then maybe you want the other one, but for the most part, you just get here. Right, pop your T5, throw a pipe bomb, open this up, do whatever. Get inside. Heal the bots, reset. Not an incredible place to hold out, but it'll do. It'll do, pig. Right? The book? Anyone know that's a book, right? And now we're almost done. And again, there's just not a whole lot going on. But I will say, we get up here, encounter our first mechanic, doorbuster. I highly recommend that before you jump down to this other side, have all the bots in this room. One thing to note, if you jump on top of this crate, the bots will stop right there. For the most part. They'll just chill. We drop down, they'll activate, jump back up. Bots will sort of chill again. Maybe some way for you to sort of wrangle them in, because sometimes they're like cats that need to be herded. But you want all 3 of them in this room with you before you jump down, because I've had I've had one get grabbed by a crusher as we jumped down, and that bot was just dead. We couldn't save them. Drop down. I jump into here immediately, get our back against the wall. Another thing to note too is that the Ridden will light themselves on fire with these fire pits. So even though it's a little shallow as far as a holdout point goes, it's good enough. And anything that spawns over here, especially during a horde event, between these 2 fires, a lot of the Ridden end up running through this flame all on their own. Kind of nice, as far as this place being a holdout spot. So, do we loot? Do you need it? If you need the loot, if you want the supplies, feel free to do so. We are running offensive scavenger. And the most important thing here I can say is as we're getting to the end here, you really ideally want 2 things to throw at the end here. Whatever it's a grenade or a Molotov. I prefer grenades. You really want 2 things to throw here. Very specifically at the end. You want one thing to throw. Oh god. Keepers. Playing with no sound. You want 2 things to throw. One, to clear your path when it comes to blowing a hole and you're on your way to the door here, because we're getting to the trap. Another little sneaky thing that you can do here is that you can drop stuff right here on the ground. Extra supplies, extra throwables, whatever. Right, because you can see when you pick them up. So drop them right here. Much shorter distance to piggyback them. That's kind of nice because you can just jump down right here. You don't need to jump straight across. You can jump right down. Now we can grab our stuff that we left behind. There's a box back here. Great place to hold off against the horde. Super solid. One thing to note, your bots can trigger the trap. Your bots can trigger the trap. The threshold is literally lined to trigger the trap. That gate will drop down. Then an infinite horde event will begin. And it will not stop until that safe room door is closed and you're on the inside. But typically what I do here is just go. This is like the moment where like I just sort of zigzag, desperately shoot. This is where I would throw my grenade, pop our T5, get inside, shut the door a lot of the times. And so long as the bots aren't taking damage, they will teleport inside with you when the door is shut. And then it's just a matter of you clearing out the room. In this room, there will be 3 shredders, 1 bile jar guy, and 2 crones. And that's it. And really, this is the most important thing, the most important part of this mission. The only part of the mission where things really begin to happen is that final trap. So it's such a pain in the butt. Such a pain in the butt to have it trigger and not be ready. So just be super duper careful about just not going over there. It's actually why I like jumping down and then getting into that cubby where I showed you where you can pick things up. Because it just sort of like guarantees more, it doesn't guarantee, helps the bots to pathfind to you, to take a tighter path towards you, instead of accidentally walking out into that area. Because if they walk out into that area, the horde event triggers and it's a pain in the butt to get out of there. But pop your T5, throw your extra grenade, blow a hole, keep yourself safe, right? Just grenade your feet until the door blows open. Grenade the initial door or inside the safe room and then get inside, close it. The bots will eventually teleport in after you. Then you just clear out the rest of the crones and you're good to go. That's the mission. Not a whole lot going on. And that was the summary. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Questions, concerns, let me know, and I'll see you in the future.